Hi guys, so it's Kobby here of Kobby Talks Podcast, and here are 9 habits that are hurting your podcast. 1. Caring about opinions. Yes, it's important to care about the opinions of your listeners, about your opinions of prospective listeners, but it gets to a time where too many opinions on you will stifle your growth and stifle your episode releases, because someone may say probably you have a solo podcast, they want you to bring people on. You may have a podcast with people and they say no, they want to hear more of you. Yes, it's good to listen, but at a point if you over listen, you end up not doing much. Podcasts are something you start for yourself or for other people, but if you listen too much, if you pay attention too much to what others are saying about what you should do with your show, even though they are listening, it may stop you from going at the pace you may want to go to. So it's important to listen, but it's also important not to listen too much, or else you end up doing little to nothing. 2. Not caring about opinions. Yes, the first reason I gave was caring about opinions, and the second reason I'm giving is not caring about opinions. Now listen up. So you have listeners of your show who believe that you should bring more guests on your show. You should talk about this topic, you should talk about that topic. In as much as it is your podcast, but you're not doing it merely to listen to it yourself, but you're doing it for your listeners to appreciate what you're doing. So you need to pay attention in a way to what they want and weigh it with what you want. But if you decide not to listen at all to anything they are telling you, and you keep doing the same thing you want to do, it's likely to reduce your listening, it's likely to more or less upset your listeners who would go on to listen to somebody else. Maybe someone may tell you that, okay, I think your audio is a bit bad. Can you up your audio game? And you don't listen to that. Come on, you need to. So the first opinion I gave as a reason why you're hurting your podcast is caring too much about opinions. And the second reason I'm giving is not caring about anything you're being told. You need to care. So 1 and 2, weigh the both. Weigh both of them and decide on what is best. Third reason, petty mistakes. I've been running my podcast going to 4 years. Yes, 4 years. And this is one mistake I made. Let me just give an example. Probably it would sum up the point I'm trying to make. So I once had a guest who I had to meet in a rush, more or less, so recorded in my car. And I forgot to turn off the Bluetooth of my phone, which ended up connecting to my car. So in having the podcast, I literally thought we were talking through the microphone of the phone, which would have sounded much clearer. But we ended up speaking through the car's Bluetooth, and it was so blurry. I'm sure you know, those of you who own cars or have sat in cars before or have made calls through a car's Bluetooth system, you know how not so clear the audio is. I literally recorded the podcast, played it back, and had so many sounds in it. I was so upset. I looked for all the audio editing tools, and one day I just sat down and realized that, oh shit, excuse my language, but the reason the audio sounds so bad is I forgot to turn off my Bluetooth. And that was a petty mistake I made. So petty mistakes could hurt your podcast in one way or the other. So as a podcaster, as an incoming podcaster, as a YouTuber, you need to be careful, you need to be meticulous, you need to have visualized how you want to go about your show and take note of all these things. But realize that mistakes are good. You can't be in this world without making mistakes. So you learn from them. But try to avoid as much as possible. Petty. 4th reason, not being versatile enough. Back in the day, podcasts were only audio, I believe. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, all those things. And we only listen to podcasts through the ear. But now things have changed. People are putting their podcasts in video form, like you're listening to right now and you're watching right now on YouTube. Be versatile. change up. Check out what others are doing and try and infuse that into what you're doing. Don't stay grounded in the old way of doing things. New ways help. Because back in the day, there was nothing like podcasts. It was just radio. But now there's podcasts. And now there's podcasts on YouTube or in video versions. So it's nice when people get to listen to you, but it's also really nice when they get to see the person who is speaking, like you are watching right now. So try and be versatile. Try and pick up new things that will make your show. First reason I'm going to give: not taking breaks. Yo, when I started with my podcast in 2019, I was releasing episodes every Saturday, every week, non-stop. It was exhausting. In the beginning it was fun, but at a point it became too exhausting for me. And I refused to take breaks. And you know what happened? I got fed up. And I took a long break, longer than usual. Months I was off in 2020. I was off. But if I had taken breaks, I probably would have been consistent. So listen to your body, listen to yourself. Yes, you need to push yourself, but to what extent? You are a human being. You are producing content for people to enjoy and consume, and for yourself to love. Take breaks when you need to. Listen, you taking a break is not going to end your show. You taking a break is not going to stop your, whatever reason it is you're doing your show. I don't know whatever reason it is, but take breaks when you need to. Just like you sleep every night, try and take breaks if you want to, if you need to. Don't ignore your body telling you, your mind telling you, your being telling you it wants a break from what you're doing. Take a break for whatever reason you need. Or else you may end up like me, who kept on going, and it led to me being fed up, and I went off. Luckily, I've been back for some years now, but others don't ever come back. So take breaks. Set reason on habits that are hurting your podcast. Not giving back. Yeah, I'm not giving back. I'm not trying to say financially, but not interacting with your audience, not responding to the comments you receive on your whatever platforms you're hosting your show on. So you have somebody, probably you post your podcast on Instagram, and you have somebody come and say, I love your show so much in the comment section, and you don't respond. Why? Respond. That is a way of giving back. That is a way of connecting with your audience. So respond. Come on. That is a way of not giving back. That's like point two, somebody telling you that your audio is really bad, and you going on with that. Give back to your audience. Communicate with them. Respond to their DMs. Text them. If you can and you want to, like other podcasts are doing, meet them if they want to, and if they are large enough or even small enough, meet them. Give back. Giving back is not just monetary or whatever they call it. You can give back with your time, with your attention, with your care. I mean, they are spending time listening to your show. They are spending time watching your show on YouTube and other platforms. So give back to them. Respond to your comments. Be interactive. I remember I had an episode with the Ghanaian vegan. For the first time, I DM'd him and he responded. I have known him from a distance years ago, but not personally. I just texted him on Instagram and he responded after some time. And we had a show. Same with Eat with Souls, same with Josephine T of Sincerely Accra, and same with all my other guests. They responded to me. So if you have a show, if you have a podcast, give back to your audience. Give back to everybody that listens. And even those who are not listening, by simply responding to them. Comments, DMs, whatever way you understand this. Seventh reason that you may be hurting your podcast, and it is this: you don't have an end goal in mind. You don't know where your podcast is supposed to go. You don't have that vision in your mind. Yes, you just started. Yes, you've been going on for a while now, but your podcast is it really quality? Is it really standing out as the best podcast around? Probably you don't have a direction you're going to. And if you do not have a direction, you're likely to just hover around for years. You don't know where you're going to. Yes, you release episodes here and there or even regularly, but what do you want with your show? What is the purpose of your show? Is the purpose of your show viable enough? Is it good enough? What do you want to achieve with your show? Are you looking to probably sell off your podcast to somebody? Are you looking to bring people onto your show? Are you looking for it to be the podcast that everybody listens to when they want lifestyle, news, sports, entertainment? What is the end goal of your show? When you have an end goal, you always have a direction in which you're moving. You're moving in a trajectory. You know what you're about, more or less. So that is a reason why you may be hurting your podcast, because you have no end goal in mind. You just release episodes, talk about various things, but what is the whole idea behind it? What are you looking at? Are you looking to be acquired? Are you looking to be such a big podcast that Spotify, Apple Podcast, or some person comes and says, yo, I love your show so much, it's going in this direction, so take $100,000, take. I want to buy your show off you. I want to run it in this direction. Come, let's partner. If you want to be merged with another podcast, you'd have a way at which you would go. You'd have a way at which you communicate. You'd have a way at which you advertise and market your show. If you want your podcast to get partners, let's say from Spotify and other people, you'd have a way at which you will also go. If you're doing a podcast but for no reason, just want to release episodes, you have a way you also go. So you see, I've said 3 things, and they would all have a direction you follow. So have an end goal in mind. Period. Have an end goal. Know what you want for your show. If you don't have an end goal, start thinking about it. What do you want? If you can't seem to come up with one, don't worry. Just keep thinking about it. What would you want to come off or come out of your podcast one day? What are you looking for? Are you looking to be acquired? Are you looking to be bought? Are you looking to be partnered? Are you looking to be the show that every person in the world wants to come onto? What is your end goal? Number 8 on 9 habits that are hurting your podcast. Your podcast is not having a structure. Now this is a bit tricky because you may have a show that it's kind of similar to the point I just spoke about, where you don't really have a direction in which you're going to with, like, what is the structure of your show? Are you doing this today, that's tomorrow, that next month? Are you sticking to one particular topic? Are you doing any and everything? Are you structureless, or do you have a structure? Structure could mean so many things, but do you have a structure? Do you have a way and manner, the kind of people you're targeting to speak to, or you, if it's a solo podcast, do you have a structure? Do you have what you are aiming at getting? Do you have a structure, or is it structureless? Things that are actually structureless are haphazard. They don't enter anything good. They are just there in the air. Do you have a structure? If you have a structure, things move in a particular direction. That is a very concrete reason why you are hurting your podcast, because you have no structure. You don't have a way of doing things. You just do things as you want. Today, try and get a structure. Try and start thinking about, how can I get a structure in my show, for my podcast. And the 9th reason why you are hurting your podcast, or the 9th habit that is hurting your podcast, is little to no money or funds coming in. You have a show and you have no money coming in. You have no sponsorship. Okay, not even sponsorship, but you have no money coming in. You have little to no money coming in. How are you going to keep going? I was that way for years. I had no money coming into my show. And yeah, I kept going because I enjoyed, that was a hobby. I loved it. But I had no money coming in until I realized that no, I need to get money coming in. Because you need money to get new gear. You need money to get a much better recording equipment. You need money to motivate you, to make you realize that, yo, I'm actually doing something. And for people to give you money, they should enjoy what you're doing, or you should be able to convince them to give to you, to support you. You are hurting, or you may be hurting your podcast because you have no money coming in. So you're hard on cash. You're lost. Yo, having some money coming into your show is good because it propels you. It gets you to work. It gets you to give your audience, your donors, something to appreciate. For them to know that, oh yes, I am actually getting some value from the funds I'm given to say Kobby Talks Podcast. We have a couple of donors from Kobby Talks Podcast and we are so grateful for them. So yes guys, these are the 9 reasons or 9 habits why you are hurting your show. Number 1, too much care for opinions. Number 2, not caring about opinions. Number 3, petty habits. Petty mistakes, I mean. Number 4, you have no direction. Number 5, you are structureless. Number 6, you have no funds coming in. Let me get the last 2. Number 7, and number 8, not taking breaks. And number 9, not giving back. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this. I hope to see your comments in the comment section. Listen to Kobby Talks Podcast. Let me know if you want more videos like this. I hope you do. And I hope this video helps somebody today who is trying to run a podcast. Don't forget the last point. Not having any funds coming in. You need funds. Everybody needs funds. How great it is to monetize your show. It's amazing. Kobby here of Kobby Talks. Take care guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Kobby Talks. Kobby Talks.
Kobby Talks.
Kobby Talks.
Kobby Talks.
Kobby Talks.
Hi everybody, this is Estella and keep listening to Kobby Talks because he rocks.